Hello, darling friends. Welcome to Yoga with Rachel, and also welcome to your yoga class for lower back pain relief. A kind reminder to listen to your body as you move today, back out of any posture that is causing pain or discomfort. Also an invitation to think kind and loving thoughts, as our thoughts truly do have power. You can bring a yoga block, a blanket, or a pillow with you to today's class if you wish. If not, it's all good. I will provide options. All right, without further ado, let's get started. Okie doke, so we are beginning our practice in extended child's pose. Now, I do believe that it is very important to explore other options too, because what works for one may not work for all. So if you get to this posture and you're like, you know what, this is not really for me, hang tight. I will provide other options for you to try out. All right. So to get into extended child's pose, let's come to all fours. Bring the big toes together and walk the knees to about the long edges of your yoga mat or to a width that feels good for you. And now send the sit bones towards the heels as you walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat. Take a slow, cool breath in here. And then as you breathe out, melt your heart space towards the earth. Forehead and forearms slightly kiss the earth. Relax through your fingers, your arms, the shoulders. Allow the lower body to grow heavy here as you just melt into this posture. So a few options here. If you have any items that you brought with you to the practice, such as a yoga block, a folded blanket, or a pillow, you can place that item on your mat and then lower your forehead down onto that item just to create a little bit more space, more room to breathe. If you are working without an item, you can use your hands, make some fists, and then stack the fists on top of one another, and then relax the forehead on the hands. Another option is to try child's pose. So that's when you bring your legs together, feet together, you're still sitting towards the heels. You melt the upper body onto the thighs, forehead kisses the mat, and then you slide your hands back in space, palms facing upwards, and the fingers are soft and curling in. So those are a few options for you. And if you're still thinking, you know what, still not really working for me, you can come to a comfortable seat of your choosing. So wherever you have landed, I invite you to send the breath to your mid-back area as well as the low back. Feeling that expansion on the inhale, and then the softening and the release on the exhale. So extended child's pose is a really great posture to come to release tension throughout the entire spine. It's also a good one for opening up the hips. Just letting go of any tension or anything that maybe is just not serving you well in the present moment. I invite you to deepen your breath, just following the flow of your breath as you breathe in through your nose and out. One more breath cycle here. All right, Press into all that is touching the earth. Lift your head, look forward, and then slowly rise on up. All right, make your way to all fours, finding a tabletop position with the wrists underneath the shoulders and then the knees underneath the hip points. Press the tops of your feet down into the earth. Spread through your fingers. Rock your pelvis forward, creating length in the low back body as you look down at your mat. So we are establishing a strong base, beautiful foundation, creating a lovely line of energy from the tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head. I invite you to take a loving breath in through your nose and then breathe out through your mouth. On your next breath in, slowly lift your tailbone towards the sky. Drop your belly so we're arching through the back body. Look forward. And then as you breathe out, start with your tailbone, tucking it under, rounding through the spine, and then your chin releases towards your chest. Breathe in, coming back the way that you came, nice and slow. Exploring your cow stretch. And then breathe on out to make your way back into cat pose. Press away from your yoga mat. So I invite you to flow now between cat and cow. You can close your eyes, just visualizing the movement taking place throughout the entire spine. Connecting breath to action as you move. So cat and cow is such a gentle way to warm up the spine, improving mobility all throughout, not just the low back area. And then wherever you are, let's meet back in a tabletop position. And then sit back towards your heels, or you can come to a cross-legged seat if that feels better for you. Send your hands out in front and then turn your fingertips down towards the ground to receive a lovely stretch in the forearms as well as the wrists. Loop your shoulders, creating space, and breathe here. All right, so before we make our way back to all fours, we will be exploring a posture that is called bird dog. So not only is it important to explore movements that help improve mobility throughout the entire spine, but it's also really great to explore exercises that can strengthen the muscles that support our spine. And bird dog is really one that is great for the low back area. It is one that I do regularly, especially because I do have days where I sit down quite a bit. So I definitely want to strengthen the muscles that support the lumbar region, and of course, like all throughout the entire spine. All right, so let's make our way back to all fours. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. And now once again, rock your pelvis forward. So we're hugging the belly button in towards the spine, and we're looking down at the mat. Beautiful. Curl your right toes under and then slide the right foot towards the back edge of your mat. There is an option to stay here, or you can press into the top of your left foot as you slowly shift your weight and lift your right foot away from the ground. Turn your toes to face towards the mat. We're extending through that back leg, really reaching the sole of your foot back, and your heel is roughly in line with your hip. Beautiful. Now, we're going to shift our weight once again, so putting a little bit more weight into the right palm as you reach your left hand forward. Imagine that you are shaking someone's hand. So once again, brace your core, hug the belly button in towards the spine. Breathe through this one, you got this. Once again, the toes can be lowered to the ground. Great, make your way back to all fours. Curl your left toes under and then slide the left foot back. Press into the top of the right foot and then slowly begin to lift the left toes away from the ground. Dial your toes down to face towards the mat. And then reach your right hand forward. So not only are we strengthening the core muscles, but we are also working on balance and stability in the body. It is all connected. So keep that breath flowing to find some steadiness and ease in this posture. And if you are trembling, you are not alone. That would be prana or energy just flowing through your body. All right, let's make our way back to all fours. Walk your knees towards your hands. Swing the legs off to one side, and we are going to lay on our backs. Take your time getting there. All right, so whenever you do happen to arrive there, place the soles of your feet on the mat with your knees pointing towards the sky, and your feet are about hip distance apart, and you can walk the feet a little bit closer towards your boot tee. Send your arms from left to right and then bend at your elbows, finding goalpost arms, palms facing upwards with the fingertips softening and curling in. So right here, I invite you to just take note of your low back. Is it connected to the mat or slightly lifted away? And how we can check that out is if you can slip your fingers or even your hand underneath, it's slightly lifted. So I know I could do that no problem. So what we are going to do is some pelvic tilting. So what we're going to do is we're going to rock the pelvis forward, hip points shining towards the back of your room. And you can think about it as, tucking the tailbone under, like if you're in mountain pose or in tabletop position, that same action. Hugging the belly button in, you may feel that the lower abs are turning on. And then when you go to slide your fingers underneath the back body, you may have a more difficult time. All right. And now we're just going to reverse that. So coming back the way that we came, arching through the back body. So you can see that my low back is now lifted. And then rocking the pelvis forward once again. Low back is now flush to the mat. I found a very creaky floorboard, so I apologize for that. All right, so we're just gonna flow on your own time, back and forth. Maybe even connecting breath to action as you do this nice and slow. So there's no need to rush anything here. There's no need to master anything either. Just take your time with it, explore, especially if this is a very new movement for you. And, when I was first doing it, I was thinking, am I doing this right? I literally was asking myself that very question. And the answer is there's no right or wrong. We just kind of explore, experience, and just see what happens and play. All right, so now just relax your back so it can come to a neutral position, so meaning that it could be a little bit lifted away from the mat. And then hug your right knee in towards your chest, interlace your fingers around your right shin, and then guide your right toes towards the sky. You can keep your left foot down on the mat, or you can send that left leg out long on your mat. Totally up to you. Listen to your body, you know best. And breathe. Wonderful, let's switch. Left knee coming in now. You can send the right leg out long, toes pointing towards the sky, digging into that right heel for stability. Tuck in your chin slightly just to lengthen through the back of your neck. Perhaps you play around with sending the breath to your belly, and then you can really feel your belly perhaps connect with your thigh. All right, lovely. Now let's hug both knees into the chest. And now you have two options here. You can interlace your fingers or wrap your arms around your shins, whatever works best for you. And then lower your head as well as your shoulders. And then you can find a gentle rock from side to side, massaging the low back body. And if you're here and you're thinking, yikes, this hurts, it's all good. Place your hands on your knees and then stack your knees over top of your hip points, just neutralizing the spine and then also allowing your shins and your feet to dangle here. If you feel awesome here, great. If you want, you can rock a little from side to side. This does not have to be a big movement whatsoever. And wherever you have landed, you can close your eyes as you continue to breathe loving breath cycles. All right, release your feet down to the mat and then place your left hand on your heart space and then your right hand just over top of your left hand. If you haven't done so already, I invite you to close your eyes as you breathe in and out. So as we are here, I invite you to think of one kind thing, just one kind thing that you can say to yourself. You can whisper it, you can say it out loud, you can shout it out, so that way your neighbors hear. Just one kind thing, one kind word. Sometimes when we're in pain or discomfort, we get really stuck. And perhaps our thoughts are not the most useful or helpful. And our thoughts really do have power and they can impact how we feel physically, mentally, and emotionally. And that's something that I've had to learn over the years as I've been dealing with pain in my neck and then into my jaw. You know, it's really all connected. So our words do have power, our thoughts have power, so just keep that in mind. All right, my darling friends, hug your knees in towards your chest once again. Melt the knees to one side. So that way we're coming through a fetal position, and then use your top hand to help prop you up to a seat. I feel like my hair is all over the place right now, but it's all good. The beauty of an at-home yoga practice. Maybe I'll actually just take out my hair elastic. Oh, that feels quite nice. I have a bobby pin in here too, I just realized that. Okay. All right. Whenever you do arrive in a cross-legged seat or a comfortable seat of your choosing, bring your hands together and then thumbs to your sternum. Bow your head. Breathe in. Breathe out. Thank you so very much for showing up here today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's practice. Please feel free to show back up to this practice whenever you feel like you want to tend to the lower back. If you find that you are sitting for long periods of time, this is a really great practice to come back to. Also, if you stand, sometimes I find that when I'm standing, my lower back is starting to compensate and then it gets tired and stiff. So this is a really great practice to return to, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so very much for joining me here today. Take good care. Namaste.